What up? Back to another episode of Bachelor Recaps with Kate. I'm just gonna get right into it. We start out in Devin's hometown, and I think the internet can unanimously agree that a running jogging date is a nightmare and hell on earth, and nobody wants to do it. And even Jenn in the beginning, when she's running to him, before she knows what's going on, she's like, I can't believe you're gonna make me run to you. And then they run and they have to wear t-shirts and they're sweaty, and it's just, I would die. I am such a bad runner, and even though I do try to run sometimes, but I just would not be able to keep up. I cannot even really run a mile. It would be just so embarrassing. It was pretty uneventful family. Oh, everybody's family seems fine. His dad was there. Everybody seemed pretty well adjusted, and Devin had previously said that he was falling in love with Jenn, and now he is in love with her, and he's not afraid to say it, and he wants her to know it. So Jenn's very happy about that. She says Devin loves me. Okay, number 2, we have Jeremy, and we go to Connecticut, and they have a date in a grocery store, which it does look like a fun grocery store, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about actually is that I am a little bit triggered by this hometown, because Jeremy, so in the interview that Jenn had with Nick Viall, she said that Jeremy was the funniest one, and that was what she kept telling his family. She was like, we have so much fun together, and he makes me laugh, and we get each other's humor, and it's just fun all the time. And then his mom is like, what are you talking about? It can't just be fun. You guys are talking about getting married. Marriage is not fun. And then his sister's like, yeah, she says so she can't tell how serious you are about her. And he's like, what? I thought we were having so much fun. And this is triggering for me because I am constantly told by men that I am very fun, which I know that I am, and I really like being fun and I like having fun, but I also think that it does sometimes also mean that I'm shallow, and that I'm not serious, and that I don't want serious things, and that I'm not a serious person. You know, I am a serious person, okay? I take my life very seriously, and just because you like to have fun doesn't mean that you can't hold it down, and you don't think about holding it down all the time. Anyway, so poor Jeremy, you know, I mean, I knew she wasn't in love with him, but I just, whatever. I know it's not personal. Anyway, also, his sister looks like, notable things about his family, they were pretty boring. His sister looks like an updated, like a modern version of the red-haired girl in Dazed and Confused. Kind of like a little bit drier, less eager to please. I liked it. Also, so we know Jenn says that Jeremy's the funniest one, but he did tell his whole family his terrible big penis story. I don't know, it's not really even a joke. I guess it's a joke. That he said he had a really big penis straight out of the limo, and the look on his family's face was like, and it's like, why did you repeat it? Like, it's not good. Like, it doesn't land, and it's definitely not gonna land with your family. Anyway, right out the night, they sit on the bench, and Jeremy bites the bullet and said that he is falling for Jenn. So that's 2 out of 4 falling for her. Okay, third up is Jonathan, and they play lacrosse. They have lacrosse in common, and I just want to say that I think it's really cute the way Jenn kicks her foot up when she scores the goal. It is adorable. His family really likes Jenn and says that he should go for it. And I really like that his mom was like, you know, when she was talking to Jonathan, she was like, you know, she didn't mention your good looks or anything like surface level once. Like, she said everything that she said about you was all your attributes that are on the inside of your character. And I was just something that I really liked about thinking about Jonathan's mom being worried that women would kind of be shallow around him and just, you know, like a pretty face. Because I feel like you always think about that in terms of women, but you don't think about it. You don't see it as much in terms of like worrying about women being superficial about men in terms of looks and youth and all of that stuff. So I don't know. There's just something about that I really liked. Also notable about Jonathan's family is that his sister-in-law made it, and they put this at the very top of the show. His sister-in-law told a very, you know, kind of at the floor for a while about how she and her husband, Jonathan's brother, met on Tinder, told each other they loved each other after 3 weeks, moved in after a month, got married within a year, something crazy. And and it was just weird because his brother, Jonathan's brother, looked like the surliest, most unhappy, did not crack a smile, did not look in love with his wife. Like, it was just, and she did all the talking, and it was just a little bit weird. Also, his haircut was weird, and also, like, none of these siblings really look alike, which I was just which I know that happens, but the whole thing, I was just like, how did you get dropped into this family? And Jonathan is like so smiley and vibrant and charismatic, and then his brother's just sitting there like a stone with his wife telling their story. I bet she tells the story all the time. And I, you know, and I came to the conclusion that probably he likes it. He probably is like, he is pussy whipped a little bit, and that's what he likes, and it's probably like kind of a weird sex thing. I hope so. I mean, if it's not, then he's just unhappy. So I hope it's a sex thing and that they're throwing down. So in the Nick Viall interview, Jenn said that Devin was the smartest, Jeremy was the funniest, and that Jonathan was the most empathetic. So I think that's important to remember as we round this out. And he also finally tells Jenn that he's falling for her. So 3 out of 4. Let's see if Marcus can round this baby out. And okay, so I have a lot to say about Marcus. Number 4, Marcus. Okay, so I literally could not sleep last night. A, because my back is hurting. I don't know what happened. But B, I also, sometimes I look at Twitter as I'm watching the show, and there were mentions of allegations against Marcus that he's not such a great guy on Reddit. I looked up the Reddit threads. It didn't seem like there was that many firsthand account. There's maybe one firsthand account, but it was, you know, you don't know if these are real. Nothing, everything seems like hearsay. So I don't know if any of it's real, but I will say that I have a hunch that Marcus is a nightmare to date. And that makes sense because he's got a lot of trauma, and I bet he just strings you along, kicks you to the curb, makes you fall in love with him, and like is just kind of an agent of chaos in the dating world because he's just so hot and he seems like he's so together, but he's definitely not. Like like, how could he be? I mean, so much terrible things have happened to him. So, and like the last week I kept going on and on about how Sam M was projecting onto Jenn, his ideal woman, and here I am doing the same thing to Marcus. I'm like, oh, Marcus, just, he's so together and he's so with it and he's got all of his emotions in check and he's capable and he's solid. And it's like, no, people who are a mess a lot of times, like, they are so good. Like somebody like Marcus who's had to kind of use his persona and his strength as like a survival tool to weather the perpetual abandonment that he faces as a child. Like, he is putting on a master class of showing that he's all together and good, but actually on the inside it's just like a can of worms. And I just, like, the bubble is burst, even though I kind of still want him to win. Because I do believe in redemption and I think he deserves it, but I think probably The Bachelorette is not the best place to heal. It seems like a lot of pressure for somebody who's not ready for any kind of relationship, let alone an engagement. I also want to say that Marcus's sister was like a wise sage. Like, at one point she's talking to Jenn and she's like, are you in love with him? And Jenn is like, I think totally caught off guard by this question, the way that she asked, like so genuine. and she starts crying, and then they hug each other, and you can see like Jenn's little forehead is wrinkled, and she's like actually like releasing some tension like in Gabby's arms. Like and then, you know, you can just tell that she loves her brother so much. They've been through so much together, and then I just like when they're sitting together, you can imagine them being little kids, like scared and shy, like sitting, like I can just like in my mind's eye, I can just like morph them into little kids. It's just devastating. Okay, one more thing is that was kind of a bummer, or like what's going on is that his parents, the parents who adopted he and his sister, were not there, and it was just him and his friends in Tacoma. And he had some parental figures, Sue and Sam or something like that. And I don't know, I just feel like, you know, for someone who has abandonment issues, maybe going on the Bachelorette where you're like on the gauntlet every week of like being chosen, like maybe that might be not the greatest place for somebody who really needs to deal with it. Oh, I also just want to underline one more time that all the things on Reddit about Marcus were just hearsay and might not even be true. Although I do kind of believe that he's a nightmare to date. There's no way he would just destroy me. Anyway, okay, so predictions. It is becoming clear, I think that it is clear at the end of this episode that Marcus is Jenn's number one. She's the most scared that he doesn't love her back. I think he's the only one that kind of doesn't love her back. The boys have like a round table having beers, and it's tense, and they're all kind of all in on her. Marcus is like, are any of you guys afraid? And it's just crickets. Which is, sorry Marcus, like he's like very comfortable sharing his feelings with the boys, but not so much with the ladies. Okay, so the preview, there's also, they allude to Marcus having cold feet, they allude to Devin having cold feet, and I kind of think, with all this new information, I kind of think Jonathan is my number one pick, because even though Devin, I think he is going to be the number two and he might be the winner now. It's like, I don't know who's going to be the winner now. I don't know if Marcus is going to self-eliminate, if he just cannot, if Devin's getting cold feet, but I think it is Marcus and Devin at the bottom. But Jonathan, I think he's the correct pick, because again, he's the most empathetic one. I think he's the one that's the most together, and he seems, you know, his big trauma was that he dated a girl with a drinking problem. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't have any big lingering issues of self-loathing the way Marcus does, and he's not like obnoxious the way Devin kind of is, I think. I don't know. So, and I guess it goes without saying, the fallen, Jeremy is the fallen. Hi Jeremy, you're just too fun. It's like the Academy Awards on this show. The comedy never wins the big award. They only like dramas, even though we both know that Angelina Jolie could not be funny if her fucking life depended on it. And don't forget that. Don't you forget that. Okay, anyway, so where am I? Okay, so the final three. We've got Devin, Marcus, Jonathan. I think it's gonna be Marcus and Devin at the end, even though I think she should pick Jonathan, but I just don't think she's in love with him. And even though I think she should pick Jonathan, like my logical mind is like, just pick Jonathan. He's the right one. He's the stable one. He's hot. He's cool. His family's great, except for his weird brother and sister-in-law who are gonna dine out on that Tinder story for the rest of their lives. I do still want Marcus to win. It's like, because to me, he's like still the underdog. It's like, he has the most traumatic story. I want their love to heal him. I want him to surrender to Jenn. I want the transformation. I want all that stuff, but that's a fantasy. I don't know. I just, even if he is him at the end, I don't think it's gonna last. It just seems like too much pressure. So we shall see. That's it. I guess so. We shall see. I think we're getting Fantasy Suites on Monday, Mentel on Tuesday. So, and then the final week, it's gonna be after the final rose. So I can't wait. And I just really hope that Marcus is not as big of a monster. I hope he's just a nightmare to date. I don't want to say it. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to speak on it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye.